Hello, friends. We're back again. It's Fightful, and it is the post-Impact Wrestling post-show. I got to find a better way to say post-Impact Wrestling post-show. This is just the post-Impact Wrestling show. I'm just using the word post too much. That's just what I'm doing. But either way, it's June the 16th. It's time to talk about Impact Wrestling. I'm excited. I feel so much better than I did last week. I've got my ride or die talk about friend, Cresta Starr. Cresta, first of all, how are you?
I'm fantastic. You can't tell because the Botox got me. So everything is just frozen in time. But I'm giving you a wrestling fantasy tonight. How are you feeling? I'm glad you're feeling better.
Yeah, so for those who watched us last week, I may have been wiping my brow a little bit more. I may have been kind of tripping over myself a little bit more. I was a little having some things, having some lost moments, and it was actually because I apparently came down with a fever in the middle of the show. And then I took a special test where they stick swabs in your nose. If people know what I'm saying, I'm not going to say the word on the air because then the all-knowing algorithm starts tossing things in. But yes, I did have a positive test for that thing that goes around and has been for a couple of years. I'm fine, thanks to those who checked in. Myself and my partner, we had it. My baby did not get it, which is fantastic. It makes me happy. Very happy to hear that and to experience that. But yeah, feeling better. Less of those symptoms. Now it's just normal everyday me, and I'm scared that you're wearing a mask because you think I'm gonna give it to you.
Now I'm just giving you the Lucha fantasy. 619, baby, what up?
When I went on to do this, like to start the show, and I saw the lips on it, first I thought you had cut a hole in it. And like for a quick second, I thought you cut a hole in the mask. And I was like, that's not how that works. And then I quickly realized that's not it.
So I got this mask at the beginning of the Pico de Gallo, and people were looking at me like, that's not how masks work, until they saw me talking. They were like, you're a clown. All you're missing is the red nose because you already got the rainbow hair. You're a clown.
Come and clown around with us, folks. Leave us a thumbs up here if you're watching on YouTube, or maybe you're watching us on Facebook. Welcome. You can join our Facebook group. There is, yes, a Fightful Facebook group. There is, yes, youtube.com/Fightful. If you're in the audio realm, how about this? If you are someone who listens after the fact, first of all, welcome. Hello, how you doing? I hope you like our voices. Second of all, if you enjoy it, leave us a 5-star review, because you know what that does? It gets our voices a little bit closer to your other wrestling fan friends or new friends that you want to make. So I'm excited to be here. I'm excited to talk about Impact Wrestling. Ricardo the Mark kicks us off with a super chat. And he says, back from my vacay in San Clemente, California. I'm glad I made it home in time for Impact and for the post show. Love #Team Joestar. Is that?
I love that. I love that. Is that? Are we about to go on a bizarre adventure? Order. That could be us. Joestar. That's us. That is us.
Why not Pearl Star?
I like that. That's giving me Sailor Moon, which I'm also into. I'm also into that.
Chat, I'm willing to hear it out. Is it Joestar? Is it Pearl Star? Listen, if everyone else has a tag team name in this Fightful world, I would love to be a part of one too. And if you're there, we want to hear this. So there you go. Let's talk a little bit about Impact. Well, actually, you know what? I'm gonna tease him even more, because if you want to do the super chat thing that our friend Ricardo just did, thank you, by the way, you can go ahead and you can use that $ on youtube.com/Fightful and type in any amount and any denomination of money that you want to donate. I'll get your question or statement read on the air. Or if you really feel involved, you can go over to humperchats.com. Cresta, tell them about humperchats.com.
You can do the same thing that you would do on YouTube. You would donate your donations. That's not a good sentence, but we're going to go with it. And you would get those chats read on air, and it goes to us. Just a little bit more goes to us, and it keeps the money flowing in. This way we can continue giving you this awesome post-Impact show with Joestar, Pearl Star.
And if you want more Impact Wrestling, because Slammiversary is this Sunday on pay-per-view, we're going to have a post show and it's going to be hosted by Denise Salcedo, the one and only, and Steven Jensen, of course, is going to be there. And if you want more Denise Salcedo, how about this? On Saturday nights, after Triple Mania, or as she pronounces it, Triple Mania, the Triple A show, she's going to be here on Fightful doing a post show. That's Saturday night with Carlos Toro. They're going to be tag teaming that show on Saturday. And if you just want to hear Kate and Sean on Friday, they're going to be talking about SmackDown and Rampage.
Period. I felt that went there.
Sean's at Buc-ee's tonight. He's going and buying smoked meat sandwiches or something. I don't know. What do you buy at a Buc-ee's? Have you ever been to? I've never been to a Buc-ee's.
I don't even know what that is.
Really? So I know what it is because I've seen travel videos. I'm a Canadian, by the way, for those who don't know. But I've done a lot of U.S. touring. Long story short, I've never been to a Buc-ee's, but I've seen a lot of Buc-ee's, and it's like this massive gas station / store that has everything.
That sounds like a Wawa, but like
bigger, but much bigger.
I'm in New York City, so there's no way we have anything like that. And the further upstate you go, like at best, you get a Walmart, Wally World, if you will.
Oh, Wally World. I love it. All right. I think we should probably talk about Impact, shouldn't we?
Yes, God. It was a good show tonight.
It was a really good show. It was the go home to Slammiversary on a scale of 1 to 10, knowing what you know and the shows that we've talked about and tonight's show. How are you feeling about Slammiversary? Are you excited? What do you got? 1 to 10?
I'm at a 10 for excitement.
Okay.
Yeah, I think last time we spoke, I was worried about the time and the length. But when they ran down the card tonight, I'm like, okay. I can see these all getting a solid 10 minutes. And it's not going to be like a slow first stir, your build up, and then it's going to be like, what up? Let's go. And I'm excited about that. My apologies. I enjoy the idea of the Queen of the Mountain. I cannot wait for that reverse battle royale. There's so many good things. I cannot wait to see who the Impact Originals get. I am so excited. I am excited. I want to know how you feel about Slammiversary.
I am sitting probably I'd say about an 8.5 to a 9 out of 10. Something tonight kind of brought it down a little bit, and we'll talk about it during the show. Some people already saw me tweet about it, but it is what it is. I'm still excited for the show itself. How about this? How about after we talk about today's show, how about we go down the card for Slammiversary, give a couple of predictions, see what the chat's saying, and we'll go from there. How about that?
I love that. We love a good interaction. And I do love to fantasy book, even though I pretend I'm Miss Cleo and my third eye is always blocked. So I always get them wrong, but I like to pretend like I know what I'm talking about.
Hey, one time you get it right, and all of a sudden the floodgates open. That's how it goes.
Period.
Now, the question on everyone's mind, we ask it every week. Cresta, did you watch BTI?
Oh, wow. My fish are on fire.
The match this week was Blake Christian and Laredo Kid. They had a really, really strong lucha style match. It's hard hitting. Go watch it. It's a good episode of BTI. They ran down Slammiversary, but more than anything, the Blake Christian Laredo Kid match, just a good watch. I always want to shout it out in case they had a good match. Someone did, and in this case they did. Impact intro this week was back to 2010. So for anyone who was looking for whatever the hell that intro was, yes, 2010, back when Hulk Hogan and the Monday Night TNA Wars was going on. I don't know why that. Exactly. Let's get into the action from tonight's show, the actual good stuff. We open up Tasha Steelz and Savannah Evans taking on Jordynne Grace, Mia Yim. Really good tag match. I really enjoyed this opening match. Second week in a row, maybe even the third, that the knockouts open up Impact with a strong match. I also enjoyed the side screen in the middle of the match with Deanna and Chelsea watching the match. And by the way, they're not watching it like this, where the TV is at the side. You all know, they were watching it head on. The TV's there. They're watching it. They look good. And we'll talk about what happens after the match. But what did you think of the match? What were your thoughts?
I think that there's a lot of people who sometimes naysay Tasha Steelz as a champion. And I think tonight, she showed up. I liked and I didn't like that she was getting worked a lot of the match, but was still able to win in a 2-on-1 situation. And there were a lot of great spots. The miscommunication with Grace and Yim aside, I thought Tasha Steelz tonight, and even Savannah Evans, I have to give her credit as well. Every week, I see her in the ring and she's getting better and better. So I really got to give kudos to Tasha. She was getting beat up. like no cap. She was getting beat up. But she was able to win, whether it was a handful of tights or a roll-up, no matter how you call it. She still won 2-on-1. And it still gives that idea that, listen, don't count me out just because there's all these strong girls in here. I'm just as fast and I'm just as good. That's why I'm the champion now. I loved it. I thought it was great.
So I don't know about you, but I came into this match thinking Tasha Steelz was going to get pinned by either Jordynne Grace or Mia Yim, most likely Mia Yim, and they're going to do a whole like, oh, if she does this again on Sunday, it's Queen of the Mountain, so the rules are different. It's not a pinfall wins you the match, but the idea being the whole momentum thing that, say, WWE would do.
Yeah.
I'm glad they didn't do this. I love that Tasha Steelz gets a pinfall win. She looks good, like you said, even in a 2-on-1 deficit. And Savannah Evans also shined in this match. She's not part of Queen of the Mountain, but at least she's getting the reps in with the top of the Knockouts division.
Agreed.
Yeah, one thing I got to spot like this. Tasha booted Mia Yim's head with like an assisted cannonball. It was an accident, but it just looked gnarly towards the beginning of the match. It looked like everyone was fine and it was okay. And Jordynne Grace, by the way, how fluid is she? I just want to spot like this. She does a double knees to the back of Tasha Steelz' neck and then goes right into a basement elbow drop and then immediately follows up with a Vader bomb and floats over into a crossface. That little sequence alone would probably blow up most of us. And I thought that was so fluid and so good. Jordynne Grace, again, I know you love her. She is so good.
Hasset, she is amazing. And like you said, the fluidity from that move to that move. Okay, you're going to get out of the pin. Okay, now I got you on the crossface. She is so good. So good. I want the best for her. And if I was a wrestler and they said you have to fight Jordynne Grace, I quit. Thank you for the opportunity.
No, you got to take the opportunity just in case you can get the roll-up victory in, just in case. The roll-ups are there.
I got to get beat up for 20 minutes. How much are you paying?
This whole night was full of roll-ups. We'll talk about that in a second. We go backstage. Gia Miller asked Diana and Chelsea after the match, are you in cahoots? Which, by the way, if you're going to use the word cahoots, now's the time. Diana says absolutely not. And then Chelsea's like, well, maybe. And then Gia stirs the pot. Both women walk away. They're like, there could only be one Queen of the Mountain, blah, blah, blah. So I don't know. Maybe the story of Queen of the Mountain will be Diana and Chelsea teaming up against everyone else until they have some sort of breakdown. What do you think?
That's classic multi-man woman matches. Hey, we'll team up for now and we'll get them. Until things get dicey or you get close to the championship or you get a pin, then, hey, what are you doing? I like the idea that Deonna Purrazzo is like, I don't need help. Beat it. And Chelsea Green is like, are you sure you don't need help? Because you're going to need help. And then I'm going to help you. And right when you think that I'm your friend, gotcha. And I can't wait. Oh, I can't wait. I cannot wait for that. I know it's coming, but I can't wait.
Ricardo with the super chat says, hashtag Joestar is a JoJo's reference. Keep it. You're welcome. Well, thank you.
It is.
I'll take it. I don't know these things. I don't get these references. Now I got to look them up afterwards. That's what I'm going to do.
Have you never seen a JoJo's Bizarre Adventure?
I can't think of the lot. No, I can't. I don't think I have. I'm going to tell you. I'm going to tell you this. I am the youngest child, and there are 5 years between my sister and I. There are 10 years between my older brother and I. I grew up watching a lot of their shows, and I didn't grow up in like the SpongeBob era or like I grew up in a weird era of TV. So like sometimes when I'm watching Sean talk about like old Nickelodeon shows or like just shows that nope, I don't get it. I don't know. I'm weird like that. I just have old TV references. I'm closer to RJ City than I am anyone else.
I will say this. If you like anime, if you like flexing anime with everything is a meme, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure is for you. It is a funny anime. If you like anime, it's bromantical.
It's anime.
It's
that's why.
Do you not watch anime?
Okay, here we go. I'm gonna tell you all.
Oh, am I exposing you in 4K?
No, I was never. So I'm not honestly now. I'm not an anime watcher. I'm not. But when I was a kid, I watched the hell out of some Sailor Moon. I loved it when I was a kid. So there you go.
Period.
And Astro Boy. Loved Astro Boy when I was a kid.
That's a throwback. That's
lady, I'm old as that. Jimmy Van today asked me if I was 25, and I said, "Oh, you," and then moved on.
Period. Joel is 25. I'm perpetuating this lie.
Let him have it. All right, backstage, Aces and Eights, Wes Briscoe, and Garrett Bischoff. Do you remember Garrett Bischoff, Cresta?
When they at first said Bischoff, I was expecting to see Eric. And then when he came out, I was like, what iteration of Aces and Eights do I remember? I remember Bully Ray bamboozling Hulk Hogan. I remember that. And I remember D'Lo Brown. When did this happen? So I couldn't pull him out. I'm like, but you know what? You guys look tough. And if you're part of Aces and Eights, and I remember how they were giving it up back in the day, you could definitely beat Honor No More. Spoiler alert. That did not happen.
So Garrett Bischoff was never like the ring general of Aces and Eights. He was never really the ring anything other than maybe the ring boy. But with Briscoe is Gerald Briscoe's son. There is a pedigree there. Wes Briscoe is still a wrestler. He doesn't wrestle beyond the independents, but I don't want to be totally wrong about that. Either way, Briscoe and Garrett Bischoff are backstage talking about their time in Impact, the parties with Aces and Eights and their dominance. And then Wes talks about his match with Kurt Angle in the cage. And then, of course, as expected, Honor No More comes out. It's Vincent, Kenny King, Matt Taven, Mike Bennett. And Vincent says, "You're looking at the real deal now." And immediately I'm like, I know who's coming. You didn't even have to think about it. And then, of course, Kenny King references Garrett's dad, who is Eric Bischoff, like you mentioned. And then they do a pull-apart brawl. There's a Lance Storm sighting. Hi, Lance. How you doing? And then, of course, D'Lo Brown shows up. And then they're like, "Hey, D'Lo, you used to be cool." And D'Lo's like, "Well, I was never cool." And then he says, "The thing about being the guy in the office is that I can go to the office and ask Scott D'Amore to make a tag match." And so he does. And what did you think of that segment?
At first, I was like, when D'Lo was like, "Listen, at the end of the day, I was with it, but things have changed around here. Things are a lot different." I'm like, I understand that. Like, from a human to a human, sometimes you could be a hoodlum, but you can't be a hoodlum at 40. You can't be a hoodlum at 50. That's ridiculous. You grow up. So I got that sentiment, like, guys, I can't just do that. But they were like, but for these guys, I understand it. But these guys, and when he was like, I'm going to go in that office because I know Scott D'Amore don't like these guys either. I was like, yes, D'Lo. I liked it. I was like, you probably going to get beat up later, but I liked it. It was
a good little nostalgia play. And then the match later on we'll talk about. And I enjoyed it. I'll tell you now, spoiler alert. It was fun for what it was, and we'll talk about it in a sec. But yeah, the segment itself, harmless, and it's a good way to get the Honor No More versus the Impact Originals match a little bit more fire. So I was a big fan of that. Now, let's move on. Mike Bailey and Trey Miguel have there's the look on your face. You have it. You're excited. You loved it. First of all, I got to say this. Going into the match, I was like, oh, Trey Miguel didn't get an entrance. And I'm like, but it's also like Mike Bailey's got to win this. He's undefeated. He's been pushed to the moon. Trey's kind of like there compared to Mike Bailey. Buddy, I was wrong. Let's talk about this match. First of all, it's the first time these two have met in singles competition. So that's pretty neat. And Bailey just kicks the ever-loving shit out of Trey Miguel for a solid 5 minutes. Overall, though, tell me what you thought of the match. We know who wins, and it ain't Mike Bailey. So talk to me. I know you have thoughts.
I have no notes, because I was looking at the match like this the whole time, like a cat chasing a laser ball. From the moment they came out, at first, like you said too, I was worried, like, they didn't give Trey Miguel an entrance. I'm like, oh God, not this. But I'm also thinking too, from other promotions that have you trained to think, well, what are you going to do now? Like, especially WWE, you booked yourself into a corner. This man has never lost, but you've been pushing Trey as sympathetic, as really trying to put the X Division on the map. And I was like, how are you guys going to get out of this? There's no one who's going to cheat. So the match itself was good. And the whole time I was like, I don't care who wins. You know who's won? The fans. And when Trey pinned Speedball, I said, get the fuck out of here. But it wasn't like I was mad about it. It was like, this was such a good match. Like you said, Speedball was kicking the crap out of him, but Trey was matching. When Trey got fast, Speedball got fast. It was such a good match. Definitely in my top 5 for the year so far. That was a really good match. It was a really good match, and I think both of these men showcase. And to be Mike Bailey's first loss, yes, it was such a good match. Such a good match to me.
I will say this. So, first of all, Trey Miguel has that front-facing Dragon Sleeper that he continues to do, and it looks great. Big fan. The second row moonsault from Speedball still looks good. It's always nuts because he does it from the inside of the ring to the floor. Always looks good. And Trey Miguel always hits that middle rope kind of dead air flip, and again, always looks good. Now, one thing I really liked and how we got this to make sense with Mike Bailey getting the first singles loss in Impact for himself is that Trey Miguel catches Mike Bailey's kick and rolls him through to a cradle to get the win. It wasn't like a random, Trey like got him with a meteor out of nowhere, blah, blah, blah. No, it was an as even a pin as it could have been. It looked like both shoulders could have been on the mat. And I really enjoyed that they kept both men safe by giving Trey the win. So I got to ask you.
I'm sorry.
No. Sorry. I stopped for a second. Give me your thoughts and then I'll ask you my question.
I was going to say, overall, though, I agree with what you said. Like, it could have been any man's match. And like I said, I think we, the fans, won. Because when matches like that happen, like FTR versus the Briscoes, for another example, almost anything AJ Styles does, it's like we win because we get to see these men at their highest doing, in my opinion, some of the best professional wrestling. And I think that when you said like he caught his leg, it's like, yeah, you're right. It was like that slight miscalculation because Trey could have did the same thing too, and Speedball would have capitalized. It was a really good match. Really good match.
So my question to you is, going into Slammiversary, do you feel a little bit more like maybe Trey Miguel could win it? Because maybe we weren't feeling that way last week, as early as last week. Did this win for Trey Miguel kind of even things out a little bit more for you?
I'm going to say no, because if I'm not mistaken, Ace Austin is in there and he just joined the Bullet Club, so he finna cheat.
All right.
He finna cheat.
Hey, when we get to our predictions, I'm excited to hear what you have to say, but I think I know. But yeah, good match. Really worth going out of your way to watch. Bailey and Trey put on a really great X Division style match. That's what they do. And then Matcha Slanovich versus Alicia happened. And Masha won with a snowplow, and then Giselle Shaw stared down Matcha Slanovich. Anything to add?
When that match came on, I just wrote underneath LOL. Kudos to you, Lish. Kudos to you. You're so brave. When Masha came on, I was like, no, God. No. It's not funny, but I was sports entertained. I never want to. That's another person I say, okay, you got to fight Masha Slamovich. I quit. Thank you for the opportunity.
Exactly. Oh, yeah. It just came and went as expected, as it was. And I think really the angle coming out of it is just that Masha Slamovich is going to keep winning matches. And the next person she's going to beat is Giselle Shaw again. And eventually, Masha's going to have to take on someone that's going to take her to a limit. Who that is, though, I have no idea. Is there anyone in the Knockouts division that stands out to you as a big competitor for Masha Slamovich?
Bias, Jordynne Grace.
Okay, I agree.
Jordynne Grace, I think, is someone, I want to even say, depending on the match, Rosemary. Taya Valkyrie, too. But I think, like, I don't know who out of those girls, like that would be a good match no matter who it is. And when I say it depends on the match, because I think if it's like a hardcore match, as squeamish as I am, I would love to see Rosemary and Masha in that kind of match. It's going to be me the whole time to put my hands through my glasses. Like, but that would be a really good match. And oof, I mean, I don't know what Tasha Steelz is going to do if Masha was like, what up? I don't know what you're going to do, sis.
Oh, I would love to see those two, but I don't want to see it for
right
the
now.
Knockouts Championship yet, because both women are on like these different trajectories of dominance. And I feel like if you put them both in the ring right now, the story is just too, no one's going to be happy with the results.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with that. Eventually, yes. Not
yeah.
Right
Oh,
now.
It's undeniable. They got to do it. Or at least whoever the Knockouts champion is, Masha Slanovich has to face that person and continue to look dominant while the champion is still a threat. Who that is, it cannot be Tasha Steelz right now.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. So we'll see. Maybe Chad has an idea. Maybe you got something for us. You mentioned Ty, Valkyrie, and Rosemary. They're backstage. Ty is excited to team with Rosemary. Rosemary's like, I don't trust you. Why should I trust you? And then they have a moment, and then Ty is like, hey, can I wear my earmuffs again? And then Rosemary flicks her and walks off. They're going to challenge for the Knockouts tag titles versus the Influence at Slammiversary. I'm looking forward to the match. How are you feeling about that?
What's going to happen when Havoc comes back? That's what I want to know.
Yeah, we talked about that last week, and it's a big question. And will Ty Valkyrie walk out with both the Reina de Reinas championship and her newly won MLW Featherweight championship? I guess we're going to have to find out there, too.
She's a belt collector.
She was on 2 shows tonight. One she was on MLW and Impact. There you go. Give her all the money. All right. Beyblade, a.k.a. Josh. Sorry, not Josh. Bullet Club's Chris Bay and Jay White. Because I wrote down Beyblade because I'm an idiot. Well, I'm not. I know what I'm talking about. Switchblade, Chris Bay. Y'all get it. It's a joke.
I love it. Beyblade. I love it.
Beyblade takes on the Briscoes. And this week, for those who don't know, Jay White goes into Dominion, wins the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship in Japan, and then appears on Dynamite last night, which was Wednesday, Impact tonight, which was Thursday. Yes, it's pre-tape, but we're talking about the airing. I want the man to show up in Mexico on Saturday while we're at it. Just have Jay White everywhere. Make it Jay White week here. That's what I want. But Jay White and Chris Bay are teaming up to take on the Briscoes. Doc Gallows, Carl Anderson are on commentary again. And I ask, please give me the jackets. If you know where to get the jackets, can you guys please get me one of those jackets? They look really good. And boy, howdy, Cresta. That Briscoes double team special gets me every damn time. This match was really good, but also the Good Brothers commentary over the entire match completely took me away from the match. Took me out completely. What did you think? Give me your thoughts, and then we'll talk about everything else.
So at first I was a little confused. I was like, is this for the championship? And then it was. I was like, was it for the championship or wasn't it?
Non-title. They said non-title at the beginning in the announcements.
That makes a lot more sense. So then my notes are wrong. I was like, is it for the championships? If that's the case, what's happening at Slammiversary? So whatever I have written down besides Christopher Beethoven is out here to eat the pins.
Beethoven.
That is his name. Christopher Beethoven, the maestro of finesse.
Wow.
Yeah, I should be his talker. Let me be his manager. Anyway, I thought the match was good. I think the Good Brothers commentary, it didn't take me out of it, but because to me, it's like, I know what you guys are about. You're big jabroni hours. You got poor Tom, Felton Phillips. You got that man's name wrong. Formerly known as Mr. Phillips, now Mr. It was funny to me because it's like at the end of the day, I was out here thinking, okay, the Bullet Club is going to win, but then how is that going to work? You're going to pin the champions? And then the Bullet Club tried to interfere, but didn't really interfere. And then Chris Bay got rolled up. I was like, oh, I feel like that's the second time I've seen him eat a pin.
I mean, look at everyone else he's surrounded by. He's the only guy. If you would put it as Chris Bay and Hikuleo as the team, then Hikuleo probably would eat the pin. But yeah, Mark did roll up Chris Bay because it was roll up night on Impact. And Mark went for a frog splash, bailed, and then got the roll up after a little bit of commotion. But like, again, just while Chris Bay and Jay White are a solid tag team, they're not a regular tag team. So the Briscoes are like so smooth when they work together because not only are they brothers, but that's all they do is tag. They've had ROH runs as singles, but like they are a tag team. Let's face it.
Well-oiled machine, a good tag team. And I just worry that even though Chris Bay just got here, I don't want them to give Chris Bay the old AJ Finn Balor. Like the Bullet Club is good for that. We do not. They just did it to Tama Tonga. So you got maybe one more. Violent by Design is rough, but Bullet Club is rougher.
They'll kick you out in a second.
In a heart and jump you in front of your family, so they don't care.
Now, the one thing with Chris Bay is that, so you got Chris Bay and you got Ace Austin. You've got Jay White, who I believe for all intents and purposes is done with Impact for the time being. This was like his last appearance. He's not scheduled to do anything with Impact for the foreseeable future. Sure. You've got Gallows and Anderson, who are maybe done with Impact after Slammiversary. This could be it for them. They're kind of heavily hinting towards it. They're spending a lot of time in Japan with New Japan Pro Wrestling. Maybe there's an AEW plan for them. Who knows? But we don't know. The fact that Chris Bay is one of the last people standing with Ace Austin as Impact's version of Bullet Club, that might be okay for Chris Bay. That might be a good place for him to be.
That's a good idea. Not an idea, but that's a good logic. I see where I'm picking up what you're putting down. That's what I'm trying to say. I understand completely what you're saying. Because if they all do end, then you're not going to really have a Bullet Club besides these two. And these two can do the recruiting until there's another Bullet Club infusion. And then it's like, well, what the hell have you been doing? Who's this guy? Who's this guy? And that's when the big storyline shakeup can happen. Absolutely. I agree with that.
Yeah. So we'll move on to talking about the return of the Reverse Battle Royal. Now, I don't know, Cresta, if you saw the original Reverse Battle Royal in TNA Wrestling. Did you ever see it?
I am not, and I am ready to be sports entertained. I was peeking at the chat, and someone said Reverse Battle Royals are always horrible. And I'm like, so what? It's Impact. I'm ready. So what? So what?
They even leaned into it. They were like, not all of our ideas were good, but we're bringing back this one. And I was like, you know what? Kudos. At least you stood by it. So they're bringing back the Reverse Battle Royal. Go back. They've released a whole thing about what it is and how it works. Raj Singh and Mahab Ali Shera are in the back, and they cut a promo saying that there's a 33 1/3 chance that Shera is going to win. Now, I don't know if your freak flag went up at that moment, Cresta. I don't know if your freaks and your peaks went up, but at that moment, that radar of mine, my freaks and peaks radar, went off the charts.
My response to you is that they say all men are created equal, but you look at me and you look at Kurt Angle, you can see that statement is not true. Chat, if you think that Scott Steiner is going to be a part of the Reverse Battle Royal, holler if you hear me. Please give it to me. I'm excited if that's going to be a thing. I think because usually when they call out like that, it plays out, and I'm excited to see if they're just talking or if they're gonna give us some Scotty Steiner. And then they give me something even better and something you even loved, and that's the Swingman. Swingman took last week off, so we didn't get to talk about him. But this week we get to talk all about him because he winds up showing up with Zicky Dice, and he says, Zicky Dice says, no one finishes faster than the Swingman. And Swingman's like, yeah, absolutely, Daddy. I'm the man. I'm going to win the Reverse Battle Royal, Jack. And then Singh reminds them that they've misinterpreted the rules of the Battle Royal and that they should probably run back to the dungeon and watch the tape. We should run to the back door and watch the tapes in the dungeon. That's what I audibly was like, you are a clown. And damn it, Joel, because I know you got me, gal. I need to stop laughing because I really laughed for like a good 5 minutes. He was like, that's not how it works. You don't, you know what? I'm going to just let you figure it out when you get there. He's like, yeah, we're going to go back to the dungeon. And Zicky Dice, it's like, the Swingman is your horny uncle, and Zicky Dice is that cousin who is McLovin, the cousin who thinks that horny uncle is the coolest uncle. Coolest uncle. And I live. It's just so dumb. I see what you see now. I see what you see. It's funny. It's so bad. It's good. I'm sports entertained. You got me, gal.
And this is what I talk about when I mention Impact's way of putting everything against the wall and having a little something for everyone. Not everyone's going to love Zicky Dice or Swingman. I'm sure someone in the comments is going to be like, Swingman's not for me and Zicky Dice is stupid. Sure, cool, I get it. You know, maybe that's because you want a little more serious stuff in your wrestling, or you just don't like Swingman's gimmick or whatever it is. I see him in a stupid cart being toted around like it's WrestleMania 3, and he's got his lackey who is standing by him and just putting up with everything, and it's perfect. Not just putting up with, but like enhancing everything. Swingman can do no wrong. Yes.
Living for it too. Like, this is my uncle. I put Swingman, Zicky Dice in the same box. I put R-Truth. Confuse uncles.
Oh, perfect. Oh my God. I love it. And Swingman's been around for so long. Like, this is a comedic role. No one's expecting Swingman to go for a championship that isn't, the digital media championship. Who knows?
What if he did?
Oh, what if he did? Josh Alexander and Swingman would put it on, Daddy.
What if he won?
Buddy, let me tell you.
Y'all can't see, but I'm laughing.
Johnny Swinger, Impact World Champion. That's something I want to live by. That's a world I want to live in. And that is a call I want to make myself. That's what I want.
Hello, Scott D'Amore.
Yes. Scott D'Amore, if you're watching, Swingman's your guy. Always has been, always will be. Well, we'll talk about another guy, former NWA World's Heavyweight Champion and former TNA Champion, Brutus Magnus, a.k.a. Nick Aldis. He's going to return at Slammiversary, and he's going to join Team Impact, which basically ruined my entire America's Most Wanted return. And Cresta, I'm upset.
Surprise. It's not my mouth.
Buddy, that's not who I would have picked. But when we found out that Mickie James, who is, of course, Nick's wife, was going to be a part of the Queen of the Mountain match as a special guest enforcer, I shouldn't be too shocked that the both of them are going to be on the card, getting a payday, doing their thing. Aldis is still a very capable wrestler. I get it. Chris Harris is he's not an active competitor, so what he could have done in the match is kind of in question. It would have, he would have been good for brawling, but not much else. So Nick Aldis returns. Now they have one last person that they're going to call on for Team Impact. We don't know who it is. You and I will speculate on that when we talk about the card for Slammiversary. Anything to add other than what I've said to Nick Aldis joining Team Impact?
I liked that idea. And I also was thinking it could still be Mr. Sorry about your damn luck. Just him, though, not the both of them. I would. No, we'll talk about that later. We'll talk about that when we're like, who do we think it could be at the end for the Slammiversary? Because there's two people that I'm thinking of, because I had a conversation with my little brother, and yes, we'll talk about that.
Yes, we will. And by the way, stick around. We're going to talk about Slammiversary. We're going to run down the card, give you some predictions. And if you're here, leave us a thumbs up. It helps us get into your friends' ears talking about this whole Impact Wrestling thing here on our Impact post show on Fightful.com. Welcome, by the way. Donate a super chat, get your question statement right on the air, or do the same thing at Humper Chats, humperchats.com. Get your support in for us and get your question or statement right on the air. Why not? And if you really want the news, if you want every bit of the scoop, if you want reckless speculation, Cresta, if you want to talk about Sasha Banks, where's she going? Where's she not going? Is she gone? Is she staying? Is she go? Whatever it is. Earlier tonight on Fightful Select for $5 a month, Sean Ross Stapp was talking about reckless speculation with Sasha Banks. And what are we going to do with her? And there's also all the scoops, all the news, the Randy Orton stuff, every news thing that you read, it's probably coming from Fightful Select. So get ahead of the curve, $5, get in on it. Let's continue talking about the Impact Wrestling. Are you ready?
That was really good. I gotta give you your kudos. That was really good. Yes, I'm ready.
All right. Honor No More take on the Aces and Eights. This was a fun-ass match. Vincent Kenny King took on Garrett Bischoff and Wes Briscoes. Sorry, I had to catch my breath for a second. They had D'Lo Brown in their corner. Aces and Eights did. And, of course, Edward Edwards was in the corner of Honor No More. Again, Bischoff was never known as a great wrestler, but Kenny King gave him enough of the basics to make it look good. The match was just a barroom brawl. Nothing crazy. Lots of nostalgia. A very simple match, and Vincent gets the win, defeats Wes Briscoe with the Orange Sunshine, as some people may know it, the Acid Drop for our ECW fans out there, our Spike Dudley fans. What do you think of the match? What do you think coming out of it?
I was surprised at first that this wasn't the main event. And I was like, what the hell is the main event? Totally forgot they were doing the contract signing, but I also was like, I would feel like this being your main event of Slammiversary, you would have already signed the contract for this. I feel like that's a little late, but I digress. The match itself was fine. I wasn't sure. Let me not say that I completely liked it. I did see, like you said, maybe it's because Mr. Briscoe wasn't known, or Mr. Bischoff wasn't known as being the guy in the ring, but it did seem a little not disjointed, but the match itself was good. I think Kenny King is a star no matter what he does. I just wasn't expecting aces and eights to lose because they're aces and eights. I am thinking Honor No More is going to get whooped at Slammiversary. That's what I'm thinking. So I'm like, okay, you got all these people coming back, aces and eights. Of course, aces and eights. The same guys that bamboozle management, the same guys that bamboozle Bogan. These guys are like, honestly, I assumed. And when they pinned them in that moment, I was like, Honor No More might win at Slammiversary. It was at that moment, I was like, these guys might legitimately win at Slammiversary and just reign terror on Impact Wrestling.
Yeah. And after tonight, I agree with you. I went in being like, Honor No More probably not going to win at Slammiversary, but looking at who they're bringing in and looking at what's going on, I'm just like, maybe not the case. Maybe they have some plans for them. Maybe some stuff has changed. So I agree with you. I wasn't shocked to see them win the match because aces and eights, they picked the two guys who were not, very well known for their time in aces and eights. They weren't known as big winners, is what I should say. So for Wes Briscoe to lose the match and for Vincent to get the pin, Vincent, who's been antagonizing all of these former Impact stars for weeks, to me that made sense, especially in the lead in to Slammiversary. I think it made Vincent look good and makes Honor No More look strong. And the post match kind of threw things back up in the air because D'Lo Brown is arguing with the ref after the match. Honor No More kind of surround him, those three guys, Eddie Edwards and Vincent and Kenny King. And Edward Edwards gets thrown out of the ring by D'Lo Brown. Kenny King throws hands with him, and then sky high from D'Lo Brown. Crowd is loving it. They just dig it. And then he starts to tease doing the lowdown from the top rope. And I'm like, no, his old ass ain't going to the top.
You too old. Get down, Grandpa.
Exactly. I'm sure there are people in the back just being like, no, he ain't doing this. And then out come Matt Taven and Mike Bennett. And they beat him down. They get him off top rope. And then they start beating down D'Lo Brown. And then out come Motor City Machine Guns and Kazarian. They do a triple super kick. They do a shell shock and a cradle shock. And everyone's shocked. And then they're standing tall. So Honor No More are not standing tall at the end of the segment, but they do win the match. So again, everything's back up in the air in terms of their match at Slammiversary.
I'm scared because like the way Honor No More has been terrorizing, I really think they're gonna win. I think they're gonna win at Slammiversary. And if everything you said is true and all of these people are leaving, like the Good Brothers, Jay White, that does leave like a heel void. So I can see it. And it's like, that's going to be poor Scott D'Amore. Poor Scott D'Amore. He's the person I always feel the most bad for in that company. He has a company, but they run amok on him. Poor Scott D'Amore.
You don't have to worry about Scott D'Amore. He's out here punching other wrestlers. So he's fine. Don't you worry about Scotty.
For now, until they jump him.
Man. So let's get to the contract signing. This was the main event segment. Eric Young and Josh Alexander. Eric Young's got Violent by Design. Eric Young looking dapper in his blackest of black suits. And Josh Alexander in his most Impact red. So Scott D'Amore's there. He's presiding. And he points out that this is the first time ever match for Eric Young, Josh Alexander. And then Eric Young is like, I don't give a damn about the history. I don't care about the celebration of Impact. He doesn't care about anything but himself and the future and being world champion. And then Josh kind of runs down Eric and says he can't believe that Eric doesn't care after being a big part of the last 20 years of Impact. Now, Cresta, I have said since we started this build that this is Impact's past and Impact's future having a excellent match that commemorates the 20 years and, determines who is the future of Impact Wrestling. This segment, and we'll talk more about it in a second, really got me amped up for their title match. Did it do the same for you? And are you still looking forward to it in the same way, or is it a little different now?
What really changed my gear for me, because I was originally going into it before 3 weeks ago, originally going into Slammiversary, I was like, okay, Josh Alexander about to beat up Eric Young because he just got the title. There's no way, even though Eric Young is violent, this is a good measuring stick for him. Then they did that video package on Eric Young saying like, yo, I did everything you asked of me, and this is how you treat me. This is what I get in return. So of course I went crazy. And then that last week I was like, okay, it was up in the air. Then tonight I was like, wow. And I went from a Josh Alexander fan to a Josh Alexander stan because he made a lot of good points. Like, you did everything that they asked you to do. Yes, you left, got fired from where you went to, came back here, and they still had a place for you. And this is how you're going to act and say you don't care? I was like, oh, he is spitting. He's absolutely right. I understand being frustrated, but you can't crap on the title that you're trying to take from me. Like, you didn't add to the legacy of this title. That's why you want it so much. I really hope Josh Alexander wins, because he literally, I was moved by his promo, but I still think, and I'm in the middle. I want to say Eric Young could win, but I think by sheer force of will, Josh Alexander would keep it. I don't know. I'm more excited, but I'm extra confused now.
They've got Josh Alexander as this like very classic babyface.
Mm-hmm.
Very like, I'm here for Impact. I am the Impact guy. I love Impact with my heart and soul. He is the new heart and soul of Impact Wrestling. Sorry, Edward Edwards. It is now the Josh Alexander, moniker, which can be good or bad depending on how he takes it and how long they run with it. But for this match, it makes perfect sense because Eric Young is like, I don't care about people. I don't care about the people. Says Josh, you're lying to these people that you're better than them. He doesn't care about the fans and their 5-star ratings and their opinions don't matter. At which point I almost threw my notes out the window and said, we're not doing shows anymore, but here we are. Thanks, Eric. We'll talk about that. And then, Eric is like, you're also afraid Josh is afraid of Violent by Design, his family, and that Josh is just scared to be champion. And I really like that they're trying to play off this whole match as future and not past, but like kind of the present of Impact is Eric Young, or in some ways was, and Josh is the future. And that's what he even drops the past himself. Josh Alexander does talks about AJ Styles and Abyss and Samoa Joe and Mickie James and Gail Kim and Awesome Kong and Motor City Machine Guns, pardon my stutter. Says people who built their careers in Impact, and he should be naming Eric Young, but he doesn't, because he says that he would talk about Showtime Eric Young, and that Showtime Eric Young will be disgusted with what this Eric Young has become. That really put it over the top for me.
To me, that, like you said, that classic babyface promo, he gave me chills in the sense of way, like when Cody cuts his babyface promos, to me, that was the same thing. And he's like, you can't sit up here and say that this means nothing and you don't care about these people, because the you who had this title, who helped build this title 20, 10, 15 years ago would look at you and be like, you're wild. I mean, I get Eric Young's frustration. It's going to be a good match. And I can't wait, because either way, that again is a moment. You know who wins?
The fans?
Me.
Well,
yes.
much to Eric Young's chagrin, the fans.
Yes. I mean, too bad,
now,
Eric Young.
Now let's not bury the lead, because really the physicality that happens after the whole, this Eric Young would be disgusted over what you've become. There's the table flip, they go face to face, and then Scott D'Amore takes a swing at Cody Deaner, which I'm like, well, that came out of nowhere. Why would you do that? He's one of your guys.
Too close.
He's a VP, damn it. Young uses the flag on Scott D'Amore and gets him out of the ring. Alexander gets planted by Cody Deaner, choked out by Eric Young, and then Doring unhooks the top ring rope, and then Eric Young cuts Josh Alexander with the turnbuckle hook, which I loved. It looked gnarly as hell. Tears up the ring. They expose the floorboards. By the way, apparently it takes 23 of those boards to go across the ring, so that's neat. Little things you find out. And then Eric Young pile drives Josh Alexander onto the wood, and that's the end of the show. Josh Alexander's bleeding. He's a mess. He's been knocked out. He's run the gamut. He's been beat down by Violent by Design. This sold me further on how heavy this match is going to be.
I will say, objectively speaking, looking at the overall show as a wrestling fan, that ending visual, 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10. Because even if you believed in Josh Alexander in the segment, that ending shot was just like, psh, he might not win though. So good. Frustrating, yes, as someone who's biased, who wants Josh Alexander to win. And that's what they want you to feel. And it was like, it's frustrating to see him get his ass beat like that. But at the same time, that ending visual, if you do not or did not want to buy Slammiversary, you did not want to watch it, this was a good go-home show. This was a very good go-home show.
Jesus Garcia has got a super chat for us. As Josh Alexander has gotten really good on the mic over the last year. I remember Ethan Page doing most of the talking when they were together. Really good go home show, and looking forward to Slammiversary this Sunday. I'm looking forward to it as well. It was a very good show. Let's talk about the Slammiversary card. First, Philly 76 with a super chat saying, everybody give a thumbs up and submit your super chats. I agree. Got a feeling some type of surprise we aren't expecting will happen on Sunday at Slammiversary. Go Team Joe Starr. Apparently that's just going to stick now.
That's our name, Joe Starr.
Here we are. All right. Hey, you know what? I appreciate it because it means that y'all are coming back and enjoying us, and we enjoy it, and we appreciate you guys for hanging out with us. This is great. Let's talk Slammiversary. We got a big card on Sunday. We're excited for it. On the pre-show, the countdown to Slammiversary, it is the Reverse Battle Royal. And of course, I'll give you this. It was the first Reverse Battle Royal was in 2006. It's been a long time. They explained the rules tonight, so that was nice. Who's going to win the Reverse Battle Royal, and why is it Swinger?
It's Johnny Swinger because a clown needs a big top. And according to chat, this matches a clown circus. It is a show. And Johnny Swinger and Zicky Dice would be great ringleaders. I don't really have a pick for this because I have no expectations going into this match. I am thoroughly expecting to be sports entertained. I'm expecting clownery, maybe some good wrestling, clownery. If PCO is there, clownery. I'm ready for clownery.
Is PCO's in the Honor No More tag? I think he is. I'm almost positive he is.
Is he a part of Honor No More? Is he just kind of like hanging out?
I know. We talked about this last week. He is a part of Honor No More, but he continues to like escape Honor No More and team with people, like with W. Morrissey that one random week. So he is. He's in the tag match.
Listen, if you pick Zicky Dice, or Johnny Swinger, I'm gonna get on the Johnny Swinger train with you. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it, baby. Zicky, baby. Let's do it, Swinger, baby.
Chat. When I talk about these matches, chat, get in on it. You can tell me who you think is going to win. I see Greg saying Scott Steiner. I'm kind of inclined to agree. If he shows up, he's got to win. But they also didn't tell us if there's any stakes for the Reverse Battle Royal. And that's something that kind of put me in the mood to be like, it can be anybody silly because there's no reason for this thing.
That's a good point. And Impact is good for silly. I can say shit. This is good for silly shit.
and think about it. You get Scott Steiner to win this Reverse Battle Royal on the free pre-show on YouTube. People are going to be like, oh, that's absurd. I got to watch this stuff.
I can dig it. Sucker.
I don't think he's showing up. I think he's got other stuff going on. Rich Swann, the digital media champion, defends against Brian Myers, who currently has the physical title. Again, countdown to Slammiversary. Rich Swann versus Brian Myers. Who wins this match?
I think Rich Swann wins this match. I think Matt Cardona may or may not interfere. I don't think his injury is a work. I think he's legit injured, right?
Yeah, he's legit injured. He had surgery. There was a whole thing at the NWA pay-per-view last weekend. It was not going to get into it, but he's legit injured.
So I foresee Swann winning this, and Brian Myers still not giving him that chance.
People in the chat are saying Rich Swann, and I kind of agree with you. Rich Swann wins, and Brian Myers keeps the physical title.
Yeah, he's like, I'm not giving it to you. Oh, well, you got to beat my friend Matt, and Matt's going to be out for 8 months, so good luck getting the title.
All about it. Let's do it. We have the Honor No More versus Team Impact. Eddie Edwards, Matt Taven, Mike Bennett, PCO, and Vincent. So there you go. Taking on Alex Shelley, Chris Sabin, Frankie Kazarian, Nick Aldis, and one TBD partner. Who is the partner, and why is it James Storm?
Okay. So I was talking to my little brother about this, and he made a good point. 20 years anniversary. You bring back aces and eights. What if it's Bully Ray?
Oh God, he was also just on that NWA pay-per-view. And the NWA is coming because you had Nick Aldis show up. Cresta, if you're right, I'm going to be upset. If Impact and the NWA are about to do a thing, I will be so upset.
It could be Bully Ray, because hear me out now. Put on your tinfoil hats and hear me out here. Honor No More been running amok. Honor No More been doing aces and eights playbook, bar for bar, verbatim, line for line, to quote Soulja Boy. Bully Ray comes back and says, you're not going to do that because you guys are being jerks. Surprise, Bully Ray takes over Honor No More, and now he's a leader and being a freaking jerk. Thank you very much for coming to my TED Talk. Is that going to happen? I don't know. But what if it is Bully Ray? Lance Storm, I think, is probably more likely. But what if? And I'm here for the chaos pick, so I'm going with Bully Ray. I'm here for the chaos.
I don't think Bully Ray was ever a part of Ring of Honor. Actually, maybe he was. Holy shit. Yes, he was. Oh my God, he was. I forgot.
Bully Ray was out here working. Bully Ray had jobs.
Yeah, no, Bully Ray did do some stuff for Ring of Honor. I completely forgot because of the whole Flip Gordon stuff. I tried to block that out of my memory, but that was a whole thing. Anyway, yeah, okay, now it's possible. Now I'm upset, and if it happens, don't blame me. Blame Cresta. Cresta is going to take my clown crown of awful booking. Thank you for that. Take it off
that
my
crystal
mantle.
Ball? It was ordained. It was ordained, baby.
Oh, dear. All right, what do we got in the chat? We got Honor No More as the winner. Mimosa Joe, Samosa Joe, Samoa Joe as the tag team partner. Ayo saying that it's simple. James Storm does live in Tennessee, so it's easy for him to make the drive. Absolutely. Greg saying Honor No More. Alex Shelley turns on Team Impact. Interesting take. Probably James Storm, but would love it if it's Davey Richards. I thought about Davey Richards because they have teamed before. Nick Aldis and Davey Richards. Why not? More Samoa Joe. And then people saying they doubt that they would bring Bubba back. Who knows?
Listen,
he's an original.
I've seen Jeff Jarrett be told he's never coming back to many a place. And where does Jeff Jarrett show up? To the same places they said we. Jeff Jarrett is like Eddie Kingston. He don't got no business being here.
Now, I see Philly brought up Monty Brown. Now, Monty Brown is the subject of this week's Jeff Jarrett podcast. And Jeff Jarrett has this thing where he continues to manifest things by having his podcast. And then next week something happens according to Impact. So Monty Brown could be the guy, and I'm all for that. People saying AJ Styles, I don't think it's going to be AJ Styles. He's a little busy somewhere else.
WWE's not letting him go out. That's why I wouldn't say it's Samoa Joe either, because I feel like right now Samoa Joe is really involved in Ring of Honor stuff, especially with Sanjay Dutt and Jay Lethal. So that's the only reason why I would like it to be Samoa Joe. That'd be iconic, but I don't think.
No, I think you're right. As much as Samoa Joe would be a really cool TNA original, you're right. It doesn't make as much sense because there's also no play out. That's the other thing too. What's going to happen afterwards? Because they're going to tape in Nashville the 2 days after for the next few weeks of shows. So you got to have someone who's going to be around and someone who's going to be a part of whatever comes next for Honor No More and for the Team Impact Originals. So for me, it's still James Storm because he's going to be around. And I think Honor No More is going to win.
Yeah, I still think Honor No More is going to win. To me, that's the darkest timeline, but I see it happening. Nothing against the TNA originals, but that's what I see happening, especially after tonight. And I'm ready to be frowny pants. But it's going to be a good match. That's something I can guarantee. It's going to be a good match. I just know Honor No More is going to win.
Yeah, someone in the chat, Brian's bringing up, it could be Tommy Dreamer. It could be Tommy Dreamer. He's been off TV for many reasons, and this could be the chance to bring him back. He's also been promoting a lot more of what's going on in Impact on his Twitter, so who knows? Moose versus Sami Callihan in a Monsters Ball match. The first Monsters Ball match was back in 2004. Monty Brown, Raven, and Abyss had a match. Who wins Monsters Ball?
Now that I know the rules, I want to say Sami Callihan. I really want to say Sami Callihan. He thrives in awfulness. But so does Moose, kind of. I want to say Sami Callihan. But I also personally don't like Sami Callihan, the wrestler. But I also don't like Moose. So I don't know who to pick. I think it's going to be Sami Callihan just because Sami Callihan is grungy, dirty, and nothing against Moose. I think it'd be good for storyline wise, Moose descends into madness. I think that makes a great storyline because Sami Callihan is already crazy. So I think putting him in a situation to make him crazier, I think it'll make Moose a little sloppy and it'll continue that storyline. But Sami Callihan. What do you think?
I think it's Sami Callihan. This is his revenge. You could stretch it out another show, but this is Monsters Ball. It's supposed to be this is supposed to be it. This is supposed to blow off whatever feud this is. Let's see what the chat's saying. We've got Sam Callihan, Moose. Abyss approves this match. Absolutely, he does. Sami Callihan did just come back. He could use the win.
Yeah.
This could be like his big win. But at the same time, Moose just lost the Impact Championship. It's been a couple months. So maybe, I don't know, this will be his second pay-per-view loss in a row. Not Impact Special, but pay-per-view loss. So that might not look good. But at the same time, I'd argue Sami needs the boost more.
I don't think Moose loses stock here because you're already on the losing hype train. So choo. Oh, my upper register. I just hit puberty. I apologize.
You too, eh?
So choo, baby. Keep on the loser streak because I don't think it makes Moose look any weaker depending on what they go next with it. I like the whole idea of Moose. Like when Macklin was like, keep your head together and he was going crazy. I would like to see a Moose Eddie Edwards kind of crazy. Like, I think that'd be interesting to see how that works and see how that goes. And I think Impact would do it right. So I would be interested to see how that goes. But Sami Callihan's going to beat the brakes off this man.
I think I just realized who's going to win that reverse battle royal. Steve Macklin.
He's in that?
Steve Macklin's not on the card anywhere else.
To me, it would be foolish to put him on the pre-show. That man is a draw with his own right.
But think about in AEW how they do the buy-in. It's usually with wrestlers that are popular because you want people to buy the match or buy the pay-per-view. And if Macklin is that guy, that might persuade some people. Then I don't know, or they're just trying to kind of keep Macklin a little bit under the radar until after Slammiversary, where he can come back, take out Josh Alexander, for example, and be like, you guys look past me, even though I was dominant for months and I beat the shit out of PCO, yada, yada, yada. But that's just what I'm kind of seeing looking down the card.
I think that if there is, like you said, if there's stakes to the battle royal, the reverse battle royal, then yeah, I could see Macklin winning it. I wonder if it's gonna mean something. But you do make a good point. Like, I've been beating up these guys for months. I was in that battle royal and I beat everyone's ass. So maybe I don't see that for him. I don't see it. I'm sorry. I have to disagree with my tag team partner. What's happening?
No, but that's the thing. Like, I don't disagree with you either, because with Macklin, it's just he's not on the card. Either you toss him on the card and he wins the one thing that he could win, which is that reverse battle royal, and then it could be like, this was garbage. I should have been in a higher profile match. Basically, you throw him in and be like, this sucks. I deserve better. Or you keep him off the card completely, and he shows up the next week on Impact and says, that was bullshit. I deserve better. Like, it's the story is either way. Macklin says, I deserve better.
Yeah, absolutely.
So let's move on. Madison Rayne and Tenille Dashwood take on Rosemary and Taya Valkyrie. That is for the Impact Knockouts World Tag Team Championships. Listen, it's up in the air. Do you see Taya Valkyrie and Rosemary winning those Knockouts tag titles, or are the Influence going to retain?
The Influence is gonna die. That's what I feel like. And I feel like if they win, it's because time to cheat. While Rosemary and Taya Valkyrie may not get along, they will get along to win something. That's something they will do. And no disrespect to Tenille Dashwood and Madison Rayne, but Taya Valkyrie is one hell of a wrestler. And I don't see it. I don't see it, Loaf. I don't see it, Loaf. I think that Ragnarok wins, and then the story becomes, so Havoc is coming back, and Taya, you're gonna have to give up the title, and then Taya's gonna be like, but does Havoc have to come back here though? And I'm here for it.
I kind of agree. I think Rosemary and Taya win, and then the story becomes, well, what about Havoc?
Yeah.
And the
What
Influence
about Raven?
Yeah, what about Raven? What about Raven? And then they Madison Rayne and Tenille can move on to whatever's next. But yeah, I just want to see that. And looking at the card, I don't know how many titles are going to change hands, but if there's going to be one title changing hands, it's this one.
Yeah, absolutely.
World Tag Team Championships, the Briscoes take on Doc Gallows, Carl Anderson. To me, it feels pretty obvious. I don't know how you feel. Do you see new tag champions, or are we going to have a retaining Briscoe brothers?
I think the only way the Good Brothers win is if the Good Brothers are staying in Impact. I think that the Briscoes are phenomenal tag team. I think they will beat the piss out of the Good Brothers. I think even if the Good Brothers cheat, I think they would still lose. The only way is if they're staying in Impact. To me, that's the only way, because you don't beat the Briscoes. Or there has to be some real life hardcore shenanigans, like FTR wouldn't do it, like a Buck show up or something real dumb, something really dumb, Tamatanga. And even then that would play into the Briscoes' favor. So I see the Briscoes winning this. Like, there has to be some real shenanigans at a foot.
On our first show, we talked about this. The Briscoes winning the tag team championships. The week before, 2 weeks before at the time. Them going into Slammiversary and dropping them didn't make sense.
Yeah.
Because the idea right now is that they are going to make the tag team championships for whoever wins them next. And Gallows and Anderson are they're not the guys unless, like you say, they're going to stick around at Impact, which I don't foresee, but we don't know. So that's up in the air. But I do think that the Briscoes would win regardless of whether or not Gallows and Anderson stick around. So yeah, we'll move on. X Division Championship match. Did you know that the first Ultimate X match was in 2003? Did you know that two of those men are going to be wrestling on the 20th anniversary at the Slammiversary card? And that's Chris Sabin and Frankie Kazarian. And then Michael Shane.
I was going to say it has to be Sabin or Shelley or Kazarian.
Yeah, exactly. Do you know? Take a gander. Which number Ultimate X match is this? How many Ultimate X matches do you think there have been?
25.
This is the 47th one.
Calm down. Damn.
This will be the 47th Ultimate X match in Impact history, dating all the way back to 2003. That's ridiculous. And it is a stacked one. Ace Austin's the champion. He's got Alex Zane, Jack Evans, Kenny King, Mike Bailey, Trey Miguel. One thing I really liked on BTI in that Laredo Kid match from earlier is Scott D'Amore was on commentary with Tom Hannafin, and Hannafin was running down Ultimate X, and he asked, why Jack Evans? And that's a pretty good question to ask. And Scott D'Amore was like, Jack Evans was a member of Team Canada back in the day. And so was Scott D'Amore. He was the coach. So Scott said,
you are right.
Yeah. So he says Jack Evans has an open door to Impact Wrestling whenever he wants to come in and be put into a match like this. So I was like, oh my God, that makes perfect sense. Let's just roll with it. So out of everyone in the field, Kenny King, Alex Zane, Jack Evans, Mike Bailey, Trey Miguel, Ace Austin, who wins Ultimate X?
That's going to be a good match. First and foremost, let me say that. That is going to be a really good match. It pains me to say that it may be Ace Austin or even worse, Kenny King. Because Honor No More said no one's having a good time, and we meant that. We meant that. In any match where there's an Honor No More person in, I'm thinking Honor No More is going out there to be number one jerk. Ace Austin just joined the Bullet Club, and I know he's ready to do a Reign of Terror. I can feel it in my bones. I feel it. I want to say Trey Miguel. He's so talented, but cheaters. Speedball Mike Bailey, talented, but cheaters. And these are people who are known to cheat. Jack Evans is known to cheat, but he's on the outside here. Who else am I missing? There's one more person I think I'm missing.
Did you get Alex Zane?
I did not get Alex Zane. Alex Zane is also not a known cheater.
That's true.
So I want it to be Kenny King because chaos, but I think it's gonna be Ace Austin because LOL, he's lost the last couple ones he was in. This might be the charm, and he's got the full weight to cheat.
Ace Austin, having just joined Bullet Club, There's a lot of momentum there. The only thing that really sucks for me about that is that Speedball is so good. And Mike Bailey is so close to having that moment.
Mhm.
But I maybe it's not Ultimate X. Maybe that's not his night. They're going to do it down the line. Like, Speedball is going to win that X Division championship. There's no question in my mind that it's going to happen. But maybe it doesn't need to happen in this like mixed up gimmicky match known as Ultimate X. And I think that this match is going to open the card because it traditionally does for Impact big shows with Ultimate X. Like, it's going to be just a train, planes, and automobile crash. It's going to be crazy. But Ace Austin seems to be the guy, and I think most of the chat's agreeing with this as well.
Yeah, like I said, the only other person I could see winning that is Mr. Kenny King, and that's only because Honor No More is like, no one's having fun unless we have fun. That's the only other person, and I think everybody else in that match is deserving, is absolutely deserving, but we got a couple of cheaters.
Let's move on to the Queen of the... This is a gimmick-heavy show because it's the 20th anniversary, and they're just getting all the gimmicks in, and I love it. It's a very impacty show. It's the Queen of the Mountain match. First time ever for the Knockouts World Championship. Mickie James is at ringside as the enforcer. First time for her back since... it's been a few months. I can't give you an exact time. But anyway, Tasha Steelz is the champion. She's going to face off against Chelsea Green, Deonna Purrazzo, Jordynne Grace, and Mia Yim, all former Knockouts champions. That's how you get into the match. Do you know the rules of Queen of the Mountain?
In this current moment, my brain escapes me. So please tell me. And for those who may not know, because
let's see if I get this right. If I get it wrong, I'm sure the comments will come for me. Okay. Regular match with all these women in the ring. Someone gets pinfall, then the person who gets the person who is pinned goes to the penalty box. The person who gets the pin is then able to grab the championship, which is, I believe, outside the ring, and then grab a ladder and try and get the ladder up on top of it's a reverse ladder match. That go up the ladder and hook the championship to the ring, to the top of the ladder. It's so much easier when you remember these rules, and I can't right now, but either way, that's pretty much it. Go listen to Jeff Jarrett or Tom Hannafin explain it, because I just did a very poor job. Either way, it's a reverse ladder match with a penalty box involved, and the penalty box is an opportunity for people to team up or to rest or to do whatever, and it's just an opportunity for anyone to kind of have a breather or just not be part of the match while someone else has an advantage. Who wins the match?
Tasha Steelz, because I think that puts her really on the map. It solidifies her championship. So wherever she goes from here on out is going to be okay. If she wins or loses, she did win the first Women's Queen of the Mountain match. I think Tasha still wins this 100%, and nobody comes out looking bad. I would like it to be Jordynne Grace because she deserves everything plus 10 out of 10. I think Mia Yim winning would be fantastic since she just got back. But to take it off Tasha Steelz right now, I feel like it becomes when your feet are to the coal, you can't hang. Like, this is deep water for Tasha Steelz. This is deep water because all of these girls, all of them have won the title before. But I think Tasha Steelz retains, and whoever cuts the push out of this maybe wrestles Tasha Steelz and pins her later on. Maybe. But this is what she needs to really, I'm your champion. I'm definitely your champion.
Now, the Mickie James thing comes into play. I think Mickie is going to play more of a role on the Chelsea Green side, aka trying to stop her. But Tasha, I see Tasha's going to retain, and she's going to rub it in everyone's face, and she's going to be a whole jerk about it, and I love it. Mm-hmm. And this is another statement win for Tasha Steelz, who needs to continue making these statement wins to say, hey, I deserve to be the woman who is the top of this division, not Deonna Purrazzo, not Taya Valkyrie, not anybody else, but it should be the Knockouts champion. It should be her. I agree. Tasha Steelz should be the person to win this match. If they pivot away, I won't be upset, but I will be... I'll be a little perturbed. I would think they could do better, and they should be doing right by Tasha Steelz.
I agree with that. I agree with that.
First King of the Mountain match, by the way, June 2004 with Jeff Jarrett, of course, Ron Killings, aka R-Truth, AJ Styles, Raven, and Chris Harris. Ridiculous. Love it.
That sounded like it was a good match. I think after this, I'm going to watch this. That sounds like it was a good match.
Go back and watch it. Very good match. They just talked about it on Jarrett's podcast too, because they just had the anniversary for that. Main event, World Championship match, Josh Alexander, the champ, against Eric Young. We kind of talked about it very quickly. Alexander or Eric Young, who wins the match?
I got to give it to my man, Josh Alexander. This is not by any means going to be an easy win. I'm expecting blood. I'm expecting interferences. I'm expecting Josh Alexander to persevere. If I'm putting back on my speculation station hat, it would be nice to see the odds even up by a returning Ethan Page just for one night, because it is Slammiversary. That would be really nice. And it's not like he's involved in that North American, European title, whatever they got going on with AEW. He got knocked out. So he's free. He could come over and help his buddy. I think that would be fantastic. But that match is going to be brutalis, Your Honor.
Yes, I agree. I think Josh Alexander retains. I think VBD gets involved. Someone's going to have to come to the aid of Josh Alexander. It could be Motor City Machine Guns. Who knows? But either way, I'm looking forward to what happens afterwards with Steve Macklin and maybe Josh Alexander. That's what I got. I think most people are saying Alexander retains as well. It's going to be a good show on Sunday. And by the way, don't forget, there is going to be a post show on Fightful with Denise Salcedo and Steven Jensen. They'll be here breaking down Slammiversary after the show. There's so much going on this weekend. We talked about it earlier. Tomorrow night, we got AEW Rampage and SmackDown review with Sean and with Kate Elizabeth. And then on Saturday, we got Grab City in the afternoon. And then we got Triple Mania, the post show with Denise Salcedo and Carlos Toro. Check that out. And then, like we said, the Slammiversary post show. Stuff every day. We're dropping stuff every day. And by the way, every day there's stuff dropping over at Fightful Overbooked. That is our Ocho. That is our ESPN2. That is our Everywhere channel. We're live streaming now on Twitch. If you haven't already, go and follow us at twitch.tv/Fightful Gaming. We're doing stuff there all the time. Speaking of Twitch, Cresta, the Starr, tell them where they can find you. Tell them about everything you got going on.
Speaking of Twitch, you can find me on twitch.tv/Cresta Starr, TikTok at Cresta Starr Reacts, or Cresta Starr if you want to see non-wrestling content. Twitter at the bottom, Cresta the Starr with 2 R's like a pirate. And anywhere on, well, let me not say anywhere, on the top of my Twitter link bio, there's a link tree that has all of my socials. You can follow me there. I would love to talk wrestling with you. But also, Joel, where can they find you? Where can they be like, Joel Pearl is that guy?
I am an easy person to find. I am at Joel Pearl, JoelPearl. Anywhere you look, I'll probably be there. This was a great show. We appreciate all of our friends and everyone watching us and hanging out with us and donating their super chats and their time. We'll be back again next week talking Impact Wrestling. Ladies, gentlemen, friends beyond the binary, we will see you in the next one. Have a good night. Cheers.
Bye.